imposed or has new tariffs that he's imposed. It's kind of hard to keep track, which is why it's great to have Nathan Dean with us.
Absolutely.
He's our senior policy analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence, joining us from Washington. Nathan, the president has been on a tear this week, announcing new tariffs left and right. There was something on Canada, there was something on generic drug makers, and now he's talking about new duties of between 10 and 12.5% on imports for most major trading partners. Just give us kind of the broad overview of this latest announcement.
Yeah, so President Trump is showing that, even though tariffs are highly unpopular with the American populace, they are going to be here, and they're most likely going to be here through the rest of President Trump's administration. Now, what President Trump did here is he converted what is known as a Section 122 tariff, where he was somewhat limited in what they could do, and he converted it into what's known as a Section 301 tariff. Now, what the investors should note is under a Section 301 tariff, in this case for forced labor, President Trump now has a tool that's on firmer legal ground. So you're not going to see a repeat of the Supreme Court trying to curtail his powers here. And as we go forward, he's going to be able to use Section 301 tariffs as a way to say, we wake up on Monday morning and there's a Truth Social post saying this country has done X. As a result, based off this investigation, now you're going to face a 100% tariff. So the headline risk that's going to come from President Trump's social media is going to only increase. The only thing that's really stopping him at this point is the midterm elections, because tariffs is really unpopular. But after the midterm elections, I think 2027 is going to be a story of tariffs.
Nathan, even some of Trump's backers and his allies are questioning this new round of tariffs, especially with midterm elections around the corner. Is this going to, again, amount to a tax on the U.S. consumer?
I think it will be. I mean, let's look at the retail industry in particular. So, right now, Lululemon, Nike, and Adidas, they are somewhat constrained or somewhat exposed to Southeast Asia, mainly Vietnam. Now, right now, there's a Section 301 investigation in addition on excess capacity on those countries. So if you're exposed to Lululemon, Adidas, or Nike, not only you're going to deal with the 12.5% that you're getting from the Section 301 tariff that they just put in place, there's another tariff that they're investigating. Now, why would they do this if it's highly unpopular? Well, President Trump loves to use it as a negotiation tool. And like Tatiana was just saying in the prior segment, when you look at this 50% tariff or the 100% tariff on generic drugs that starts in 2 years, those are negotiation tools to force countries to come back. But in the interim, those countries and those investors that are exposed to those retailers, you're going to see higher prices as a result.
What about the countries that had signed bilateral trade deals with the U.S., at the start of the second Trump administration? Do all those just kind of go by the wayside? Do the tariffs kind of get layered on top of that?
So right now, it depends on the country, but most of the countries, they're still at the 10% level. So a lot of those trade deals in the United Kingdom in particular, was just a little bit higher than 10%, but they're at 10% right now. Most of those trade deals are going to be remaining the same, because that's ultimately where the United States and where President Trump and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer wants to go, is they want to have these individual trade deals, because then you're going to be able to have exemptions. You're going to be able to focus on specific industries. In the UK perspective, cars. And so ultimately, those deals are going to be there as a base layer, but President Trump always has the authority to add more if he wishes.
Nathan, before we let you go, we got to talk about the possibility of another government shutdown that could happen September 30th, of course, with those midterm elections right around the corner. First off, how likely is it that we're going to get a shutdown? And if we remember correctly, during the last or the most recent one, the S&P 500 returned more than its historical average. So the market seemed to shrug it off.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I mean, it's kind of funny. The S&P actually did better coming out of the shutdown than it did going into it. But in this case, we're ascertaining a 40% chance. Look, shutdowns right before the elections, they're politically risky. Neither party really wants to do it. But the Democrats really didn't pay a political price for embracing a shutdown last year. And there are Democrats out there that say, look, I'm not going to support President Trump's immigration agenda or vote to fund anything related to that anytime soon.
Right.
And that's where the challenge is. Now, the House has passed a bill that would fund the government through December 4th, puts it into the lame duck, kicks the can beyond September 30th.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the Democrats will agree, but we'll see.
All right, Nathan, quite a lot to sum up there from Washington. Nathan Dean, very busy with the latest policy initiatives out of Washington. He's our senior policy analyst here at Bloomberg Intelligence. We're looking